Welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. The show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I want to encourage you to go to our website at rabbiscott.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. You get a free gift, the book, I Have a Friend Who's Jewish to You. It's a great book on sharing with your unsaved Jewish and Gentile friend. It shows the Messiah from a scientific, historical, mathematical, and then biblical point of view. You also get a free prophecy card. Shares 70 of the key prophecies, where they're found in the Torah, where they're fulfilled in the Brit Hadashah, the renewed covenant. And it's a free gift just for signing up. While you're there, you can check out our website too. And we do planting trees in Israel to support the land. Remember, we are a listener-supported show as well. You can give us an online donation right there on our secure website. But right now, I want to talk to my friend, Rabbi Yossi. He is from China Grove, South Carolina. Did I get it right?
North Carolina again.
North Carolina. I have, dyslexia is a horrible disease. It affects 504 children. I am determined to put you in South Carolina. But North Carolina, and you're at Beit Shofarot.
Right.
And we have your website on our up on our link. But why don't you tell our listening audience your website so they can get more information about your congregation if they're in North Carolina, if they're in South Carolina, they'll have to talk to someone else.
The website is www.beitshofarot.org.
And now spell that.
B as in boy, E-I-T, Shofarot, S-H-O-F as in Frank, A-R-O-T.
So you can check that out. And you have services on Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings at 10:30.
And what else do you do?
We have Saturday morning services, of course, at 10:30. We are there all day with the Oneg Shabbat, or Shabbat Oneg. And we're there for afternoon classes and through Havdalah.
And it's great. We help plant you as a congregation,
Correct.
And it's great to see you've been growing and doing well. We actually brought your tour. I remember getting your tour from Israel and joining you as we celebrated the beautiful ark that you made for it. So you have I'm envious of your ark. It's okay, but we have a great time. And let's talk a little bit about your background. Tell the audience a little bit. You were not you weren't raised in a Jewish home, but you have Jewish blood.
No, I was not raised in a Jewish home. My parents are they were first generation believers, which means, of course, and so I was raised in a Christian home and was not told much about our Jewish background until my father died well over 2 decades ago. And on his deathbed...
You've been very old if he's 2 centuries ago.
Yeah, very old. But 2 decades ago, and on his deathbed, he told us who we were and our family background literally hours before he passed from this world.
And that's actually, you're not the first one that I've actually heard that from. You hear that a lot of times. So where was your family from?
They were originally Yemenites. My father's family was.
Right.
And they had moved into Austria before World War II and then came to America just prior to World War II.
So you're from you're Australian,
Austrian.
which was an area that had a lot of people killed during the Holocaust. So
Correct.
It's amazing how our grandfathers knew how to get out just in time.
Correct.
And so once you realized that you had Jewish roots, you had already, at that time, were you a pastor already?
I was a minister in the church. I've been a minister for many years.
Right.
And when I first found out that we were Jewish, I was not a happy person. Not that I had anything against the Jewish people. It was just that I felt like I had been lied to for all of my life. Little did I realize until a local Messianic rabbi, Sam Nadler, spoke to me and told me that the bottom line was that my parents were trying to protect me because we lived in an area heavily populated by the Ku Klux Klan. And
that's something that's not uncommon. Even once they came over from Europe, many of them kept their Jewish identity quiet because of the persecution that was already happening with the Pilgrims and things like that before World War II. And so what you're saying is really not unusual. But what was that? What made it click for you one day to say, "Hey, I'm now going to become I'm going to be Messianic, and I'm going to start a Messianic congregation"?
Well, I argued for many years because I wanted to stay in the church, and finally God just started working with me and talking to me and, well, speaking to my heart. And I struggled with it, and slowly I started coming over to understand that there was something more, and that there were actually other people out there like myself, as you've already indicated,
Right.
who find out late in life that, yes, they are Jewish, and were just never told because of different situations. And God called me into an area which everyone said, you're crazy for going there, because this is a very heavily populated area with the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Nation. And I did not want to go back to my home area, but I did go back. And we started with 4 people, and in a period of just a few years have grown massively from that. And part of that reason is because when you really search that area out, you'll find that it was populated by many who were Jewish when they came into the area.
And so your congregation is made up of both Jewish and Gentiles who have a love for the Torah and want to learn more. What's one of the unique stories that you've heard of a person maybe finding their Jewish roots, or from your congregation?
Probably the most unique one was when we had a man who came in, and actually when he walked in the door the first time, security was all over him. He looked very much like someone that might be coming to harm us. As we began to talk and everything, his names started striking us as being Jewish. And when we started telling him this, he was like, no, it can't be. And we said, yes. And he was like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, well, actually, yes. And so I started showing him. Well, what it was, his family was heavily involved in the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, wow.
And his father was actually one of the leaders of the Ku Klux Klan when he was younger. And so his whole family has now had to accept the fact that the people they once hated were themselves.
Very interesting. So you definitely are in an area that's unusual, but wasn't there also a strong Jewish population there as well?
There is a very strong Jewish population there. It's an amazing, between Concord, North Carolina, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina, there is a heavily populated by the Jewish people. Many of them are of course non-believers,
right.
But then there are many who are first-generation believers in Messiah who assimilated them into the church and are now looking for a place that they can renew their roots, but at the same time not lose Messiah.
What do you think? Why do you Gentiles? Why are they being drawn to your congregation?
I think it's because we are in a place where we actually believe the Word of God completely, and we follow it to the best of our ability without condemnation.
Right.
And a great many of the people that have talked to us have said that in their churches, this is not an indication of all churches, of course, but that they have gone so far from the Word of God that they feel that they need to make a turn, teshuvah, as you will.
Right.
Teshuvah, as you, and they are now looking for the truth, and they're finding it in our congregations.
Now, again, you worship on Saturday mornings. Is that the only day of the week that you actually have events going on? At
this point, it is the only time that we have events going on, except for the occasional guest speakers or Messianic artists who come through.
Right. And again, for our listening audience, I want you to say and then spell out, because it's a unique spelling. For a lot of people out there who might not know the Hebrew, they might not be able to get that. So I want you to say and spell it. But we also have it on our website at rabbiscott.com. That's RABBISCOTT.com. But give us your website again.
It's Beit Shofarot, which is B as in boy, EIT SHOFAROT.com or .org.
Right.
And it actually means House of Shofars or House of Trumpets.
Right, and I remember going there and sounding the shofar, and it's a blessing. As you came on our trip to Israel with us, and many of them brought back shofars. Matter of fact, we're going to be announcing next week our trip to Israel. So I want you to stay tuned next week as we have a big announcement on our Israel trip. Until next week, this is Rabbi Scott saying shalom and pray for the peace of Jerusalem.